The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom. The Leo King will be live shortly. Please hold on while the collective consciousness loads, and thank you for being a part of the Leo Kingdom.
What is going on, everybody? It is David Palmer, the Leo King, and we are doing late night astrology tonight. What is tonight? It is December the 15th of 2016. It's been raining here in Southern California, and I heard it is cold pretty much everywhere else in America. But as an American, I don't know what the hell is going on anywhere else. We only pay attention to our own weather. But I'm assuming it's cold out there. I'm assuming people are kind of in a weird place. That is because the astrology has been kind of funky for the last couple of days with the moon in Cancer in its natural home. You'd think it'd be really good, but boy, oh boy, we are back into some cardinal cross energy that we just are finishing up right here, which was kind of not an easy thing to deal with for the last couple of days, to be honest with you. Kind of brought back some of the feelings of 2014, a little back into 2013. If you want to get real deep with the cardinal energy, Pluto Uranus square. So not that fun to kind of rise that up from the edge of life and feel that all over again. And that's why I'm here to talk about that tonight. For those that are not on the Leo King app and not watching the astrology horoscopes or are not able to get the uncut, I kind of want to have a little discussion. And even those people that are on the app, I want to have an open discussion tonight about the Pluto and Uranus square that happened from 2012 through the end of 2015, and technically even a little bit here at the beginning of 2016, and how the last day and a half tapped into that energy, that neurotic feeling, that feeling that you're kind of on the edge of the universe. We are seeing as Uranus stations, as we call it, as it stops, and Pluto's moving forward towards Uranus. This is the last and the closest the Pluto-Uranus square will be in our lifetimes, especially in cardinal signs. So, and you know, the Pluto-Uranus square takes a while to happen, and we're going to deal with Pluto oppose Uranus later on in the world, but that's a while away. So it's kind of a rare moment for us, and I kind of want to try and put all this energy together and really, help show people what's going on, because I think that people are having a hard time understanding life in general right now. It is very odd, and I know it's connected deeply to this weird transit happening right now, and I want to discuss that with you all. I want to find a way to show you all, of course, in the astrology. Now, if you didn't know, we are live right now on Facebook. So if you happen to be watching this live, you can connect with me on here, and I'm here to answer your questions. I really want to chat with people. I really want to see what people's insight are, how they're feeling, make sure that, I can understand what's going on. It looks like we got some people in here. What's up? So yeah, I am in the chat with you all. What's up? Yo, yo, yo. I'm going to be very blunt and honest with you all, because I barely made it here tonight. I had to get the horoscope done for today. I have not been feeling good the last couple days. It knocked me out. It took me all of my energy and my power just to get here to do the horoscope tonight. And I'm not going to be here with my total full Leo King crazy energy tonight, but I will at least be able to have a nice fireside chat, although I don't have a fake fire anywhere, with you about what is going on. And of course, let's take a look at the Leo King interactive play-by-play chart first about what's going on. So, number one, let's look at Uranus and Aries, okay? Uranus in Aries is retrograde right now, and it's going stop and stationary. And the week right after Christmas, it goes direct, which means Uranus is stopped. Okay? Oh, stopped has two P's, I think, right? So Uranus is stopped. But look at this Pluto, okay? Pluto in Capricorn is moving forward. Now, it's finally starting to gain momentum. So these two planets are in square. Now, they've been in square. I mean, you can go back all the way to when Uranus entered Aries in 2010. It's been a long time. And finally, the breakaway, right now it's only 4 degrees, if you see that. Uranus, once it goes direct right after Christmas and starts to move forward, it's going to go all the way to 28 degrees of Aries in 2017, okay? And Pluto is only going to go to 18 degrees of Capricorn this year in 2017. So there will be a 10-degree difference in the astrology with these two planets. And Uranus gets all the way to 28 by, of course, this like end of spring, beginning of summer. And Uranus will start to be breaking away more than 5, 6, 7 degrees, as we begin the new year, kind of as we come in. So right as the new year begins, this energy is going to start breaking apart. But we're kind of at a weird zone here for the next couple weeks because, one, Mercury is about to come retrograde exactly on top of Pluto. See that right there? It wasn't the best circle. There we go. So with Mercury and Pluto conjuncting, Mercury is stopping and about to go retrograde and highlight this square. So Mercury is our understanding, right? It's our clarity. It's our figuring out things. And in many ways, it's also highlighting the last 4 years of this crazy energy that has gone on in our life that has made us feel we have to find courage. We have to make tough decisions in our life. We've had to deal with these tough, non-emotional, because Aries and Capricorn have zero emotion except the emotion to move forward. That is all they give you. They don't give you compassion much. There's no compassion in war. It's like you either going to cut off my head and I'm going to take your castle, or that's it. Like there's no in between. And then Capricorn's like, I'm either going to fire you or I'm going to do better at the job so I get the top job. There's always one CEO. There's not two, There's always one manager, usually an assistant manager, but like there's not two. You know what I mean? Like that's Capricorn. And so this energy has been very difficult on us. And if you see the moon tonight, I'm literally doing the chart for exactly right now. I'm doing this live, December 15th at about 10:40 p.m. That was a horrible circle as well. So, but see how the moon covered this spot over the last 2 days. It made that square to Uranus. It made that square to Jupiter. And it made that opposition to what we see here with Mercury and Pluto. And look at how they are making that aspect as well. So this is what we call a grand cross in astrology. And this Mercury retrograde is happening in the middle of this. And it will free up as we get through this weekend a little bit because the moon at least will be in Leo, even though that now is going to deal with the opposition of Venus and Mars, which are in Aquarius, finishing up this weekend with both of these in the same sign. Mars will move into Pisces on Monday, the same day that Mercury will officially be all the way retrograde. So how do I put this to everyone? It's like when you look at all this, and it's so funny, the whole time I was talking, I thought I was showing you guys all this, but here it all is. There's the moon, 26. Here's all the squares. Venus and Mars in Aquarius. Last weekend of Mars in Aquarius. But if you see, this Mercury retrograde is covering all these spots, and the emotion is not simple, unfortunately. It's been a little bit gut-wrenching. Also, you have to realize that the sun had just passed Saturn recently, which was 6 days ago, right down here. So the sun is still kind of in Saturn's grip. Saturn usually has about a 7-degree orb to 10-degree orb, technically in astrology, because Saturn is the second biggest planet. And Saturn has a grip on things. Saturn, you just don't have a couple degrees away from Saturn. Saturn has a big grip. It's got rings that are outside the actual size of Saturn. So actually, Saturn's even bigger than you realize. So the fact that the sun has been by Saturn, while the moon has been in Cancer, in the middle of this jumbled mess means we came out of the full moon with the peaking of energy. And now we're dealing with kind of more heavier iron, with Capricorn, and then with the very difficult cardinal signs that emotionally make you move forward. It's kind of it feels for an odd feeling. And now you're starting to feel the Aquarian energy when you have the personal planets Mars and Venus in Aquarius, right? You feel disconnected in a way, but you also are connecting to great new things in your life. And the fact that we're going to have this 10-degree, separation finally between Uranus and Pluto in 2017 makes for a better feeling with the neurotic energy. But we have to wait. Uranus does not come into Taurus until 2018. And when Uranus comes into Taurus in 2018, that's when the Pluto-Uranus square can officially end. It can officially end because they'll be in different energies. Plus, Uranus will be in an Earth sign while Pluto is in an Earth sign, and they're starting to separate more and more and more. So that's when you're going to start to see that kind of neurotic energy you felt over the last couple of days. Suppress. And right now, for the next 2 weeks, with the Mercury retrograde going to highlight this, I don't think that energy is going to go away for a little bit. You're going to have to kind of, face that a little bit with Mercury stopping on Pluto, highlighting this Pluto-Uranus square where Uranus is dead stopped. That's not the funnest energy, to be honest with you all. The other aspect that I think is interesting, if we were to kind of let's do some erasing here. I think I can just. Okay. Let's see. Like I said, I'm not feeling the best tonight, so sorry if this is not entertaining as I usually am to you all. But I'm just trying to do this is late night too. Late night astrology talk. This is nerd talk. If you're a nerd, this is the fun stuff. All right. Oh, and I'm spilling Sprite all over myself. That's just the kind of night I'm having. Literally. Good thing it's a little one. How's everybody doing in the chat before we go into this? People enjoying this or no? Somebody's saying they've been crying my eyes out and feeling very depressed. Gut-wrenching. Good word for it. Nice surprise. Thank you. What do you suggest when things you thought were what you wanted seem to be bringing a lot of stress? I think the best way to deal with this is realizing the stress that's on us through this transit. It's learning to keep moving forward, to learn better ways of finding courage, finding better ways of finding peace in yourself, finding better ways to continue on and be tougher. I mean, I hate to say that. It's a very weird time to be alive, to be honest with you. It's not the easiest to deal with, but talk about great spiritual growth. And Dawn said, energy is low and feeling it. And that's actually, Dawn, thank you for bringing that up. I brought that up in my a lot of my horoscopes. So let me draw this out for people right here. So after that full moon hit, right? Oh, that's still an eraser. Here we go. So after that full moon hit, right? So we had the sun and the moon, and that peaked out. The second that the moon moved off, okay, we have a couple things. Mercury stopping, Uranus stopping. Okay, we have Mars at the end of Aquarius and about to move into Pisces, which is one of its second weakest sign. Then on top of that, you have the moon in a cardinal cross. Okay, when you add all these up right after the full moon, right? You get stopping and you get the energy. Unfortunately, I really used like my horoscopes to tell people, like, you've got to get your shit done now. If you're going to make big moves, do it now. I literally got engaged now. I planned it off the astrology. Like, no bullshit. Because it was like, I know when the windows are and I know when they're shitty. And it's not that this is going to be a shitty time, but this is going to be a time now where all of the energy and all the peak out of all 2016 and everything that you've wrapped up in your life now goes through transformation and goes through stewing on things. And a lot of it is highlighting the last 4 years of the Pluto Uranus square. That's what this Mercury retrograde's about. Not losing your head, not losing yourself, not losing yourself from the past of whatever happened over the last 4 years. This is like a final test to that. This is like the final test. A Mercury retrograde highlighting the 4-year transit of Pluto Uranus. I mean, if you look at that, I mean, come on. I mean, like, booyah. And with Mercury on top of Pluto right there and with a big square, boom, while Mercury stops and goes retrograde, you got to remember, Mercury stops for at least a week. It's not like Mercury stops and then moves. Mercury's a fast planet, but when Mercury stops. Like, we're getting right now, Mercury's only gonna go 1 more degree, then it's gonna stop all through Monday, then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's gonna finally get to 14, and then by the the following week we get into 13. So it's like, man, the next 2 weeks Mercury is dead stopped. So unfortunately, things are kind of feeling a little And Mercury in Capricorn isn't really the funnest sign. Now, especially with Pluto involved, it could feel extremely overwhelming and deep and intense. And it's highlighting the 4-year transit of Pluto Uranus. And it's an ultimate test. It's only 4 degrees away. These are outer planets. They are dealing with subconscious things that you cannot control, unfortunately, in reality. You're feeling stuff that's stewing up in the universe that you have no control over. That's Pluto Uranus. It's subconscious. It literally is vibrations that are coming into your head and your more importantly into your whole soul, that are outside of the reign of Saturn, that are outside of our reality. And they're static from the universe that still we're feeling. It's like God's going through a crazy neurotic like lightning storm, and we're the atoms that are inside of God's body, and we're feeling it, it's this is the last bit of it, because technically, it's technically not. The other thing that's what makes this so difficult is if you really look at the astrology. So of course, let me erase something first. Let me erase all this. Okay. All right. You have the opposition to Jupiter now. So Jupiter and Uranus are in opposition. And here's the Pluto-Uranus square, of course. Now, what makes this interesting is today, here's Mars in Aquarius. Well, as we come into the beginning of the year, after the 40 days of Mars in Pisces, which is going to be starting Monday, Mars will then come into Aquarius, and then 30 days after that, so in about 70 days, okay, guess where Mars meets up with Uranus in Aquarius, okay? And it will oppose Jupiter. It's going to be amplifying it the beginning of this year as well. That's why you mentally have to understand that whatever you're going through for this next 2 weeks, you have to learn to mentally get a grip on yourself through this neurotic, weird energy and deal with it. Because when Mars amplifies it this spring, it's going to be intense. It's going to be overwhelming. Actually, I don't even know if it's going to be spring. To be honest with you all, it might be at the end of winter, which I'm actually showing you guys right now here. So let's see. All right. So here it is. February 26th, technically winter. Put it more at the top of the chart so you can see. Now, what we do here, is we share this to paper. Boom. Paper. Boom. All right. So if you look at this now, what's coming up on February 26, 2017 is, look at that, Mars, Uranus, exactly at 22, directly opposing Jupiter. This Jupiter-Uranus opposition is going to be going on through the beginning of the year. And look at Pluto, going to be at 18 degrees. Only 4 degrees off of Jupiter. And technically still only 4 degrees off of Uranus. This neurotic energy has been going on since the entry of Uranus into Aries in 2010 and 11. But I would say that it got more intense in 2011. You're going to have to learn how to master this, folks. We're all learning to master this, but it's not just going away. And if you actually look at the time frame of when this happens, on February 26th, that's going to be the sun with Mercury, sun, South Node, Neptune, and the moon, and Chiron in Pisces. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 energies in Pisces. Holy moly, that is not easy to deal with. So I think 2017 is going to be wonderful, to be honest with you. But I think that if you are really just believing that the spiritual tests are like completely over, this is the grand master year 2017 of mastering how to deal with handling energy that's outside of the reality we're in and the awakening process and how to master it. That's the best way that I could put it for you all. Do people resonate with that at all or understand that in the chat room? Somebody said this is horrid. Well, it's been part of the ascension of the last, 6 years. It's a lot. It's not like it just yay, we just come into the year and just no problem. No, this will be a lot. This will be a lot of intensity, this year. But the reason why I brought up that I thought that, after this full moon, especially once this Mercury retrograde happens literally in the next couple of days, literally on Monday, I think from Monday until we get out of Mercury retrograde and until Mars gets past Neptune and gets past Chiron, I don't really think until February is when we're going to start to see the craziness happen. Now, the other aspect is, if I am correct, I do believe that the eclipses of 2017 I think that's an eclipse right there. Believe it or not, a solar eclipse. Let's take a look real quick. (2017). The solar eclipse is February 26, 2017. I knew it. Ay, 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 ay. Not going to be the easiest, I can tell you that one right now. That solar eclipse, with all that energy in Pisces, with Mars Uranus opposed Jupiter, with the Pluto Uranus square in the middle, with the nodes finishing in Virgo Pisces, that's going to be when the energy gets intense again. So the good news is at least Mars will be in Aries. So you'll be able to get through it. But, it's another Pisces solar eclipse. We have dealt with a lot of these. That means there's a lot of shedding. And that will be the end of the neurotic energy, though, technically. February 26, 2017. But it's interesting that the energy of eclipses always happen for 6 months, right? So for the 6 months until the next solar eclipse happens at 28 degrees of Leo, that energy will carry through the 6 months. So anyways, now I'm starting to get, I could do this for like 5 hours, folks, but I just want to let people know that this is a very intense time to learn to get a grip on that, realizing that you are going to feel energy that you cannot control. Sorry. All you can do is learn how to make yourself more comfortable in it, be more stronger in it. That's really all you can do. And from now until that February 26, 2017, is really going to be whether or not you know how to adapt, go with the flow, and more importantly, learn that that's going to be the next portal of entry, per se. We're kind of in a, I don't want to call it a lull, because there is a lot happening in the astrology, but technically speaking, things will be at a little bit of a lull. After Mercury comes out of retrograde on January 8th, Mars will be in Pisces, and it'll be an interesting time. Things will be moving, but it won't be as intense as we see February of 26th of 2017 with that eclipse. Let's actually look at exactly what happens when Mercury comes out of retrograde, and we'll end with that. So Mercury comes out of retrograde on the 8th here in Sagittarius. Yeah, because on the boom. So the 7th is the stationary day, and Mercury's out. And then Mercury comes back into Capricorn. And you got to look at this. The sun will be squaring Uranus as Mercury just comes online. Oh boy, and going through the Pluto Uranus square. So that's more neurotic energy that's going to be highlighted. It's not going away. The feelings that you felt over the last couple days, I mean, I just hate to be like the real astrologer, and it's not a bad thing. It's making you become aware that no matter how much good shit you got rolling in your life, no matter how much you're trying to go forward, you're going to be realizing that there are other dimensional frequencies that are at play that are affecting your life that you cannot control. Like, I was pissed the last 2 days. I just went through the most beautiful thing in my life, an engagement to my fiance. And then right after that amazing night, amazing moment, moon went into Cancer, highlighted all this crap. And I knew that was the last portal of like this great energy. And then I knew that this was just going to be like, shit, we got to go face all this cardinal stuff. We got to go face all this stuff. You know, there's different stories always playing out in astrology, different areas of evolution of our soul. And the biggest area that has been working on for the longest time has been this Pluto Uranus square. And it is not over, folks. It is about to peak itself truly out. And it emotionally tapped in a little bit this last couple of days because I think it caught everybody off guard. Like, oh shit, this energy can still be around? I thought it was like gone. It's still around. It comes back around with Mercury retrograde coming on Monday, but then it comes back around when it comes out of retrograde on the 8th, 9th, and 10th. Okay. And look at Mars. Then Mars has to pass Chiron right after that on the 16th of January. It's the 17th of January where I truly believe, especially with the quarter square of the moon, look at this. Again, we're going to have a cusp quarter square. We are going through cusp quarter squares of the moon and three-quarter squares of the moon. It's outrageous. It's like not, that's a whole nother video itself. We're going to have one through this solstice. But I believe that the 16th, 7th, or actually let's go back. I will say the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th of 2017, January, is when the energy gets faster and starts moving again. Mars is going to square Saturn exactly too on the 19th, which will be a big decision point. So January 20th, Mars is off. Moon's in Scorpio, and then there's a new moon right there on the 27th of January. From now until around that 20th through 27th, things are going to be kind of... So... it's not a bad thing. I think that, you know what, to take a little bit of a break and like, you know, feel the universe out and feel your life and try and reconfigure how life's going to go and where's it going to go. Because Mercury comes out of shadow exactly on that 26th, 27th. Look at that. Look at Mercury will be back at 14, 15 on the 26th and the 28th. Boom on the new moon. So I know it's like I really, if I were to push the exact day, the new moon on the 27th would be the day that you're going to feel the explosion of the same explosion that just happened in the last week, that you were maybe all excited about life and going towards life, kind of coming back. And I warned people that it was going to slow down, and we're here, folks. It's about to slow down. I would recommend that everybody and I guess that's why I'm doing this video live, Friday, Saturday, and I think Sunday's like the end, but Friday, Saturday, you better get shit backed up on your computers. You better make all those form submissions. You better pay the bills you need to. You better make the emails that you need to. You better deal with any issues that are hanging chads in your life right now, because the energy from now until January 27th and 28th is gonna not suck, but not be easy to get through. There's going to be a lot of sorting things out. At least from the 8th till the 28th, there'll be 20 days where there's at least flexibility and things moving, but you'll still be like, well, I still got to wait till this happens. that new moon will allow everything to happen. Plus Mars, of course, on the 28th and 27th comes into Aries. I wanted to show you this all. Look at this. So, yeah, 29th to the 28th, Aries. That new moon is going to be a big deal. But until that spot, folks, that's the best that I could tell you right there. We're going to look at the chat and then we're going to get going. I got to go home. What's this great Astro program, DLP? Oh, it's Astro Gold. Same people who make Solar Fire, but for iPad and iPhone. Yeah, I think somebody said, oh, yeah, it feels good. It felt like such good energy. That's a good thing, this slow period. It is a good thing, this slow period, to kind of percolate on things, take in all the stuff that you've grown with, and kind of reshape things in your life. But definitely, I don't think that this is going to bring a lot of new things in, So I think that this is going to be about how you deal with everything. What if you were born under Mercury retrograde? I mean, that's always that's a book in itself, and that's there's some people that I see work great under Mercury retrograde, and there's some people that don't. I think that you want to look at your progressed Mercury. So, like, good example, I have progressed Mercury retrograde right now. So I don't like Mercury retrogrades. Plus, I'm born with Mercury direct. Plus, I'm ruled by Mercury. So I don't like that shit. Even though I'm a Leo rising, I don't consider the luminaries being ruled by a sign. So I take the next sign over, which is Virgo. But people born under Mercury retrogrades, sure, I guess you could say they can handle it a little bit better. I guess they get it a little bit more. But every Mercury retrograde is different than the other. They all are different. And this one is going to be weird because it's going to deal with outer planets, and it's going to hit the galactic center point as well as it stations and goes direct. So for everyone, this is like shaping your whole life's purpose, your whole life destiny, where you're going in your whole life over this period. And that's why it needs to stop so you can aim the ship in the right direction. And the sun is going to conjunct Mercury in Capricorn in retrograde, which I think is very important to remember about this Mercury retrograde, is how you deal with Capricorn energy, how Capricorn energy and you get along, what it rules, what house it rules in your chart. That's the stuff you're going to want to look at, and how Sagittarius is ruled in your chart, or what planets you have in between 28 degrees of Sagittarius and 16 or 15 degrees of Capricorn. If you got planets that were in there, especially like me, I've got Jupiter, Neptune in the middle of this. So this is going to be covering my Jupiter, Neptune. Like that's going to be in my fifth house of love and creativity and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So I think that those are the things to pay attention to. I think this whole notion, like everybody born with Mercury retrograde deals with Mercury retrograde easier, I think is bullshit, because at the end of the day, that'd be like saying everybody with Mercury direct deals with Mercury direct great. It's like, well, I've had some of the worst time in my lives in Mercury direct as much as I've had some of the worst time in my lives in Mercury retrograde. I've had some of the best times in my life in Mercury retrograde, and I've had some of the best time in my life in Mercury direct. So I think it's a little bit too 1980s book astrology, like, oh, let's read a coffee book and everybody with Mercury retrograde deals with it great. I think that astrology is over, like that shit's boring anyways. That's like boring astrology. Like look at it much deeper for yourself. Like, is your Mercury retrograde or direct in your progression? Are you dealing with a solar arc transit of Mercury on a planet right now? Is your Mercury under stress during this Mercury retrograde? That's how you'll tell how you'll deal with your Mercury retrograde. Is this Mercury retrograde affecting planets or the sun or the moon in your chart? Now, if it is, that's where it's going to fucking really affect you. If it's not hitting your sun and the moon, and it's not hitting any planets that hard, and it's in a chill space, that'll be an easy Mercury retrograde. But if it's hitting hard planets, it's hitting the sun or the moon, it's happening in a space that's hard, it's hitting you in a spot that you don't like, yeah, if you're born with a Mercury retrograde and it's happening in a hard spot, it's going to be hard for you. You know what I mean? Somebody wants to know what a yod or a finger of God is in a chart. And all it is a sextile between two planets. And that sextile then comes up to, two quincunxes up to a planet. And it's a yod, it's a finger, but it's a very odd alignment. It's a very rare alignment to have too, because of the fact that it just doesn't happen. And it usually happens, and it's even rarer if it happens between three planets, not one that has a fast-moving planet like the moon or something. Like I have a yod with the moon, so that's even like a very little snapshot moment. It's like I was gonna draw it out for you really quick. So if we look, a yod is always, let's say, like Mars or something, and then let's say we got like Saturn, okay, and they're in sextile, and then let's say like the moon, right, is up here in the chart, and then it comes down. Now this is usually a 135, and this is a 60-degree angle, so it's supported, but the finger is always pointing to whatever planet is in the yod. These planets get along, so these planets are supporting, but they are stressing the planet that is in the yod. But God is pointing to these planets, especially the one wherever it's pointing to, that is a focal point of destiny in your chart. That is a focal point to really pay attention to in your chart. And that's going to be a place that, you're going to feel really odd and weird and kind of like, but you're going to deal with it. And there's the hope of the planets that are in the sextile that help you. They're kind of like angels that help you with that energy of whatever that is. Somebody said, can we launch a big plan before Sunday? I would say that the full moon was the best time to launch something big. I would say that now royally sucks. Yeah, I mean, okay. I will say this. I will give you this. All right. And who asked that again? Rajni. Friday and Saturday, the moon is in Leo, and it is trining Uranus and the sun and Saturn. And I would say that Saturday would be the best day to launch anything. That's it. There's one more little window. But you got to remember, Mars is at the edge. That would be the best time. But you got to remember, the moon's going to be opposing Mars. The moon's going to be opposing Venus throughout this weekend. The window was I told everybody to use the full moon. There's going to be oppositions between the moon and Mars and Venus, even though it's trining. That's difficult. You don't ever want the moon opposing Mars and opposing Venus. Those are hard transits to live under. Or to have a product or to have anything in your life or a relationship or anything, Every Grand Cross is good, Maritza wants to know, because it does put pressure, but it, some people call it like it's the pressure to build a diamond, or it's the pressure that can build up, something great in your life. But it's until you take action with it. Some people can really get hung up with Grand Crosses or stuck. It's learning to get out of it, but it can really be for an exciting life and energy. So, and it's very intense as far as manifesting goes if you utilize it. So it's not horrible, Yeah, I'm going to be doing my 2017 forecast. I always call it the end of the year Leo King forecast. That'll be coming out Usually I do it on December 30th, 31st, or somewhere right there. I do a forecast for the year. I'm also part of Astrology Hub, and we're doing this huge, what do you call it? Seminar with me and 13 other astrologers like Kay Pasha. There's so many, I can't even name it. And you'll see the stuff come out. We're doing a 2-day summit about 2017. And we all are picking an area that we love. I'm picking when the North Node moves into Leo and the Venus retrograde finishes in April of 2017. I think that moment is going to be humongous right after that eclipse of February. So that's going to be interesting. And I that's something that that will be coming out more, and you'll be able to hear about that. It'll be great to attend Leo King University. That's right. Yeah. I am coming out with master classes, which will be coming out sometime once I move my office. If you all don't know, it looks like I will be moving at the beginning of the year, and I will be moving the Leo King, this studio, to a whole new studio, and I'm even going to move my residence to a whole new place, my fiance and I. So, and I don't know exactly where that's going to be, but it's looking like I may even be moving states. So I'm not going to do the master class till I get to the new location and the new studio, and I'll be able to do the master class a lot like this. It'll be really cool, and with interactive with the charts and drawing and answering questions and stuff like that. So, but that's coming more in the year. Also, remember, people want to be part of the app. I'm doing auditions. I have over 115 submissions. So I have a lot to weed through, and I'm waiting for the beginning of the year for that, for whoever is going to be the people that I pick for on the app. And will I ever do Astro Buzz again? Yes, of course. I stopped it because to be honest, people just can't handle the truth right now. People didn't want to hear me when I thought Trump was going to win, and I lost subscribers, and and it was like, it wasn't even a personal thing. It was just the astrology, like Astro Buzz really fucks with people, and and people take it they get way too butthurt when they hear about their favorite celebrity, and I'll say something weird about them or anything like that, or people just don't want to hear the truth about the world, and Astro Buzz does that. Now, of course, I will continue to do it, but for right now, energetically, I'm not. I'll be bringing it back once I have the energy to do it. To be honest, I don't have the energy to do it right now. And I don't have the energy to be blasted by people who are haters, to be honest, about the truth. You know what I mean? So, I'm going to get going. I got to go. I got to actually put up the horoscope to the app. I just filmed it, so I got to do some quick editing. But thanks for all being here tonight. Thanks for listening to me about, this neurotic energy and what's been going on with how the moon tapped into that the last couple of days. I think that it was super interesting on how that really affected us. And it's not going away, but we are learning how to, I think, master it. And I think relationships are important right now with Jupiter there. Having the right kind of partnerships to help you get through, because you cannot control the energy that's coming in. It's interesting. Like, I wasn't feeling good, and my fiance won't care. I'll use an example. And she was feeling fine, and then out of nowhere, she just started to get a headache, and it was like, oh, shit. Like, you can't control shit. No matter how much you want things to happen in life the way you want them to happen, like, Pluto Uranus square always is going to just jumble it up crazy and make it unpredictable. And right when you didn't think it's going to happen, it might happen. And it's like, man, like, learning to realize that you just don't have the control, and it will all work out fine, but you're dealing with forces and vibrations and frequencies of the universe that come from beyond Saturn, and Saturn can't control them from coming in. They're going to come in whether they like it or not. And how we get blasted with that energy and how we deal with that blasting of the energy is something that we all have to learn to deal with. And I think that that's hard because we don't know how to exactly deal with that. And that's what the lesson has been for 5 years, 6, if you want to go back to the truth of Uranus coming into Aries. It's already 2017, so almost 7 years, but it's like, That's been the lesson is there are frequencies out there that are coming and tweaking us, and it's uncomfortable. And it affects our bodies, and it affects us learning to stay courageous and move forward and know there's nothing wrong. There's energies coming in from other dimensions or wherever you want to call it that are affecting us. And they affect us subconsciously, especially. And when they mess with you subconsciously, you got to remember the subconscious is outside of this reality. You got to remember that like your brain is like 80 to 90% subconsciously running. And it's being blasted with energies, and then it gets picked up in your subconscious, and then it affects your body in a weird way. So hope that helps. And I think we'll be through 100% with that energy by February 27th of 2017. So, and when the moon comes into Leo tomorrow in the morning, we'll get out of this a little bit. But you got to remember, Mercury's about to stop and go stationary this weekend through there, so it's not over. At least the moon's out, and the moon will come into Virgo and go through a big square on Monday, Tuesday. Watch my uncut. I mean, anyway, thanks for all the support. I truly appreciate it, guys. I'm going to go. I really got to go. And I will see you guys later. Adios. Bye.
The Leo King app is the world's first and leading video and notification astrology horoscope app for iPhone, Android, and computer. Get daily spiritual videos and addictingly accurate notifications alongside weekly sun sign horoscopes, tarot videos, and exciting new age entertainment videos by celebrity astrologer and TV personality David Palmer, the Leo King. Join today. You have nothing to lose with a 7-day free trial and wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.
Wake up to astrology like you've never seen before.